Welcome to Everyday Happiness, where we create lasting happiness in 2 minutes a day through my signature method of intentional margins, creating harmony between your to-dos and your priorities, happiness science, and musings about life. I'm your host, Katie Jeffcoat, and back in episode 231, I mentioned my 2-minute margin, and you all loved it and asked great questions, so I'm going to explain it in a little more detail here. So intentional margins can be a buffer of time. It's the 5 minutes or maybe even 2 before a big meeting, a phone call, switching tasks, right? For me, about 3 years ago now, when my kids were riding a bus to school, I realized how important the moments when my kids, but especially my little guy, stepped off the bus were to him and to me. So before this time, I would always be finishing one last thing as the bus rolled up. Have you ever been in that situation where you're finishing one last thing as the next thing is starting, whether it's making dinner or finishing a phone call or getting the kids off the school bus or running to the next thing, right? We've all been there. Well, I was doing this as the bus was rolling up. Either a text, an email, I'd be on the phone, I'd be hushing my little kids as they gleefully bounced off the bus, waving to the bus driver as my phone was tucked under my shoulder and my ear. And then I realized I was missing the best parts of life. And what kind of message was I sending my kids? It's a gut punch. They were really always pretty excited to see me, right? When they would get off the bus and tell me about their day. And for me to inevitably grab a backpack, right? And the art that they had brought home. This was a moment in time. So I decided to commit to my intentional margins. I put my phone away completely out of sight 2 minutes before I expected the bus to roll up. I gathered my thoughts. I set a quick intention for how I wanted to show up for them. And when they got off to the bus stop, I was waiting. My phone was tucked into my pocket. I was looking at them, their smiles, watching them bounce off the bus, and more than anything, I was present for them in those initial moments. The message it sent to my kids was that I'm here, I value you, and I want to be here in this moment with you. I mean, this entire experience is like 5 total minutes. It's not that long of a time. But my creating this intentional margin, it forever changed the way I am with my kids. And it was less than 5 minutes of my day. Oprah has this saying that when she enters a meeting, she asks, what is the intention for this meeting? It's so clever, right? We can do that. But we can also ask ourselves, how do I want to show up? It really only takes a couple of minutes to make a big difference in how you feel more balanced, especially during those super busy days. And this doesn't happen overnight. We built an entire community around practicing this. But I invite you to create a 2-minute margin as a transition to take a deep breath. Ask yourself how you want to show up and what is your intention for the very next thing. I promise you this goes a long way. Until next time, keep spreading that kindness.